Happening now, WNY News Now goes on the road. Our Matt Hummel and Ryan Hedrick head out to Chautauqua Inn & Suites in Mayville, where there's a law enforcement safety conference on worship service safety. We'll have all of our news, comments from Sheriff Joe Gerasi coming up live from Mayville.
I'm Dakota Hunter in the First Defense Weather Center. Well, it's still cold out there, but hey, at least we'll see some partial sunshine. But that big warm-up comes our way for next week. How warm? We'll talk about it.
That's News Now for Thursday, March 22nd, 2018.
Live and on demand from the Chautauqua Audio Works studios in downtown Jamestown. This is your source for breaking news. WNY News Now.
Thursday, March 22nd, and Ryan Hedrick and Matt Hummel at the Chautauqua Inn & Suites. We are at a very large conference. Thought it was very important to take News Now on the road this afternoon, give you a taste of what's happening. Matt, you've seen some of the conference, and this, like I said at the outset, church shootings, hard to fathom in a place of worship, but it can and does happen.
It does happen, and I know that specifically we haven't had a lot of shootings locally or even within a 300-mile radius, but you never know what's going to happen, and you have to be prepared, as Sheriff Joe Gerasi told us, and you'll hear that in a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good segue. We are going to talk to Sheriff Joe Gerasi in about 90 seconds, but I do want to say the lineup is impressive. There's a woman speaking, and she's a retired Denver police officer and a presidential-appointed U.S. Marshal, talking about different ways in which you can secure your staff, do background checks, and really make them accountable for each and every person's safety in a place of worship. And again, this is strictly a proactive approach in the wake of the Parkland, Florida shooting. I want to read you something here. And this is from a Texas shooting in which 30 people were killed. It says a mass shooting occurred in the First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs, Texas, about 30 miles east of the city of San Antonio on November 5th, 2017. The gunman, 26-year-old Devin Patrick Kelly of nearby a town, killed 26 and injured 20 others. And the thing about church shootings, Matt, is it's such a confined space, and there's such a large probability for mass death in a short amount of time.
You're right, because A, a lot of churches don't have very many exits, and B, especially with churches that have a big congregation, it's going to be hard to get everybody out quickly and safely because everyone's going to be, panicked. So the church shootings, just like school shootings, it's hard to get people out.
And again, we're not here to ask the question why. I don't know if any human being will ever answer that question successfully. There'll be a lot of speculation, a lot of analysis, but I'm going to go to Sheriff Joe Gerasi. You caught up with him during the conference, and now they're taking a break. Here's what he had to say about the efforts to get this large group of people under one roof. Together.
Well, I felt it was time for us to do something like this with what's happened across the country, especially violences against houses of worship. So I started investigating the possibility of putting on a summit and reached out to other agencies, sheriffs across the country, and talked to a sheriff in Jefferson County, Colorado, by the name of Jeff Schrader, who recommended the speaker, the main presenter today. So I organized this, and we've got over 300 people that registered and are attending today.
I was just telling Matt, I'm not familiar recently. Of course, South Carolina comes to mind with Dylan Roof and that horrible incident, but, it seems like we're so desensitized to this. That it happens so frequently. When I was coming up, when you were coming up, we couldn't fathom this type of stuff. I mean, can you give us some perspective about how much this occurs, how rampant and how real the threat is?
Well, there are threats against not only churches, but schools, and obviously that's in the news now a lot. And we need to be proactive, and today we hope to share a lot of information with the crowd so they can go back to their houses of worship and start working on or tweaking their safety plans and handle it proactively.
All Right, so you heard what Sheriff Joe Gerasi said, Matt, and I think the key thing that he hit on was that this is not a reactive situation, because law enforcement can afford to be reactive because they're always responding to things, but this is really a proactive approach because we're really not talking about this in the wake of a New York shooting.
Let me put something into perspective. So we at News Now, correct, at WNY News Now, we take measures every single day to prepare, because you never know what's going to happen in the news world. Whether we're preparing for the show or a news story, we always had to be prepared and not react. And that's what Sheriff Joe Gerasi is doing right now. He's taking action to prepare in case something does happen around here.
Yeah, and again, I was born and raised in the late 80s and early 90s, and stuff like this did happen, but it was occasional. I think what really touched it off and what really made this stuff come to the top of the surface for a lot of people was Dylan Roof in South Carolina and what he did to those people. And I think if we continue to stay a step ahead of education and awareness, I think what the speaker was trying to say was this really starts with a good foundation, the church setting rigorous guidelines for who your security is and how they handle exit plans and emergency plans, and really preparing for, thinking about, not living in it, but thinking about imminent danger.
And she made a very good point. We have to, realize that life is more than just your denomination or your religion. Religions and denominations should network together, work together, to figure out where do we go from here. If something happens, what do we do? There has to be some sort of coexistence, because what I've learned over the last decade, globally and domestically, violence has no bounds. It's not confined to a religion. It's not confined to a denomination. It's not confined anywhere. So we have to be prepared, and we have to work together regardless of differences in beliefs, etc.
This is News Now on the road from Chautauqua Inn and Suites in beautiful Mayville. It's kind of nice outside today, and Dakota Hunter will catch you up with the latest from the First Defense Weather Center in just a moment. I want to go right back to Sheriff Gerasi and get the last snippet of what he said. And I asked him if this is going to be an annual event, and I like the answer because, under certain circumstances, 300 plus people, especially in the law enforcement world, it's not easy to organize. But here's what Sheriff Joe said. We'll come right back and talk. Can this be something that can be an annual thing? Do you hope to have a reoccurring event just like this?
Absolutely, and it may not be every year, but maybe every other. Really depends on demand, but it's something I think is really important.
Are we too reactive, Joe, sometimes? Even in law enforcement, I know it's a reactive profession. You're always reacting to a threat, putting out fires, so to speak, for lack of a better term. But should we be more proactive with things like this to kind of nix stuff before it happens?
Absolutely, and that's part of why we're doing this today, is to be proactive. I've also had presentations to some of the schools and their faculty and staff. The FBI recently did a session at my request, and we're trying to get out in front of this.
How integral have their resources been for you and your department, and how important is their presence here? And the main speaker, too, is quite a established career vet with law enforcement.
Yes, our speaker is from Colorado. She retired from the Denver Police Department after 25 years as a captain, and then she was a presidentially appointed U.S. Marshal in Colorado, and then does the safety circuit across the country. And the FBI, we have a tremendous relationship with them, and they bring resources to the table that we might not have otherwise. So we're blessed to have an office right in Jamestown.
What is the one thing you want the participants to get from this? When they leave today, what's the one thing you want them to say to themselves and others?
Well, that we have work to do, and we're going to do it, and we're going to do everything in our power to make our place as safe as it can be. And that's not just from active shooters, but from fire and other natural disasters as well.
You've been doing this long enough to know about the school shootings, that this can and could happen right here in Chautauqua County. Are we, and I know you guys do like off-site training with a bunch of different agencies, but are we truly ready for something catastrophic God forbid, should it occur at a school or a church?
Well, you're never ready for anything like that, truly ready. You have plans and test those plans and practice those plans. But every incident is different, every occurrence is different, and we just hope that it doesn't ever happen here. But when it does, we will be the best prepared as we can be.
All right, Matt, so it's a mass gathering, but he said that he would try to at least make it once every 2 years.
And that's pretty impressive, especially if you're pulling people from the FBI and, higher up, because that takes a lot of calling and networking, so that's pretty impressive.
All right, so on the other side, as far as our news goes, we will return to the scene at Chautauqua Inn and Suites, a gathering of 300 plus people talking about public safety and prevention in places of worship. Here is Dakota Hunter. Dakota, good afternoon. What does it look like in Jamestown in the First Defense Weather Center?
Hey, good afternoon, Ryan. And, we have a little bit of we have some partial sunshine. Boy, that's a mouthful here in downtown Jamestown. But boy, it is still chilly. Our temperatures are way off the mark compared to where we should be. Let's go in there and take a look at it. We'll take a look at Lynx 1 and we will take a look at the Viper radar to start off with. And Viper is a higher resolution radar, so we can often see the lighter reflectivity of the precipitation showing up. But we have nothing showing up across the region today. And that will remain the story throughout the day today, but hey, it's still going to be chilly. So yeah, coats probably still be needed. So here's your forecast for this Thursday. Partly sunny on average, but it will be cold and it will be breezy. Highs will range 29 to 35. We should be around 45 this time of the year, just to give you a reference of where we should be. And with a healthy northwest wind of 9 to 18 miles per hour. So that will lower the feels like temperatures just a tiny bit as well. So limited sunshine, but it will still be cold out there with below average temperatures. But a big warm up comes our way for early next week. We will talk about it in just a couple of minutes. Back to you, Ryan.
WNY News Now is sponsored by Chautauqua Audio Works, 3335 South Roberts Road in Fredonia. More than a music store. Call 679-4333. Call now, 679-4333.
The Main Landing Restaurant. Excellent service, awesome food, and a beautiful view.
Everything's made fresh here. We love to be outside, and it's nice inside if it's raining, so we have a choice.
Locals and non-locals agree that the Main Landing is quickly becoming a destination.
It's just so casual, and just the food is amazing.
I love the hamburgers.
But I really like the tuna I had.
The Main Landing Restaurant. Excellent service, awesome food, and a beautiful view.
It's tax time, so get to Express Bike and Auto in Jamestown for all of your vehicle needs. Service, inspection, vehicle sales, they do it all. For all of your automotive, motorcycle, and ATV service needs, Express Bike and Auto even offers financing. Your true one-stop vehicle shop is Express Bike and Auto in Jamestown. They're located at 1761 Foot Avenue Extension next to Quick Fill. Express Bike and Auto in Jamestown. Stop looking, start saving today.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
All right, Matt Hummel and Ryan Hedrick back at Chautauqua Inn and Suites Thursday, March 22nd, and we'll have more of Dakota later in the program. But Matt, something I want to bring your attention to, and I know you know exactly where you were 1 year ago at this time, the Faulkner fire. In fact, we were at the STEM Wars at JCC when all heck was breaking loose, and such a tragedy. I don't think anybody knew at that point the magnitude, though, of what that would do to the community.
I think it became apparent to me when there was that, almost altercation, if you will, with a resident and one of our employees. And just to put it in perspective, I actually know that party, and they are usually mild-mannered. They always keep their cool, and to see that person a little angry about a relatively small thing that occurred, that just went to show me that this is serious. This is gonna be devastating for a while to the community.
Yeah, let's not kid ourselves. Faulkner, the village of Faulkner, has changed 180 degrees from when you were young out there, and You know, when you look at the village now, it follows a simple pattern of, you know, where poverty lies, there's imminent drug trafficking that goes on, there's, you know, illegal things, illegal trade, and, you know, Faulkner has fallen victim to that, not for lack of caring or for the residents being weak or anything like that, but just general circumstances. And on top of that fire, another fire. It's really been a devastating year, but, you know, as strong and tough as those people are and committed to one another, you know, they're staying in the solution, which is very tough given the circumstances of you have one fire and then another fire several months after that.
And I have to say, I was very impressed with the second fire, because afterwards, County Executive George Borrello came. And in the past, no disrespect to any other former county executives, but you wouldn't think they'd come onto the scene of such a tragedy. And to see George that day as a Faulkner resident and not a reporter, I was very thankful to George. That made me feel very good as a constituent, especially after realizing we were going through another devastating event in the village.
Here's why the village of Faulkner, the skyline, was so important to so many people. It wasn't the business hub of Chautauqua County. It didn't generate millions and millions and millions of dollars for people. But what it did is it elicited memories of the good days, the good times, the times when things were simple and plain and we didn't have this and that to dilute how we're living. And I think the skyline coming down is just like somebody dying. The reason, in my opinion, it was so hard to fathom was because it was so sudden. It was sudden and it was final.
And 2 fires within a year.
Right.
That was a dagger. And I think about businesses like Root Salon, for example. After both fires, the ladies had to move their location, and they could have just gave up and, said, it's time to move on in life. No, they keep going. And I've noticed that the thing about Faulkner is, even with, the stuff that's happening with the drug trafficking, there's still plenty of people who rally around each other. So sometimes it does take an unfortunate situation such as, the fires to bring people together. And that's something I've noticed, again, living in Faulkner.
And we're going to swing it back to Jamestown, where Dakota Hunter is standing by in the First Defense Weather Center with an extended look at your weather. Matt and I will be right back to wrap it up from Chautauqua Inn and Suites in Mayville. This is a special edition of News Now on the road in Mayville at a safety summit focusing on places of worship. Matt Hummel, I'm Ryan Hedrick. We'll be back. Dakota, what's up?
Now, your First Defense Forecast with Dakota Hunter.
What's up? My green wall. Because that's what I'm standing in front of, even though it doesn't even look like it. I'm standing in front of one of our Sky Vision cameras, so let me get out of the way and show you. This is the Sky Vision camera from Peak and Peak, and there's still some people out there. And even though that we are now into spring, now oftentimes the ski and snowboarding season can last a little bit into spring as well. And let's take you down to Erie. That's the Mill Creek Mall camera that is situated on top of the old water tower in the parking lot of the Mill Creek Mall in Erie. Traffic on Peach Street flowing pretty well there, and everything is looking A-OK there. Onto the graphics, and we will take a look at this. Now, we've been talking about this throughout the week, that a warm-up is going to come our way into next week, and you can see the Climate Prediction Center has all of Western New York at a 33% chance of seeing above average temperatures over the next 6 to 10 days. However, as I mentioned yesterday, I don't think all of this is going to last, because as we look further ahead over the next 8 to 14 days, they have us at a 55% chance for seeing below average temperatures. So the warm-up that comes next week, you're going to want to enjoy it, because it doesn't look like it's going to last. Such is the case as spring around Western New York. Live look at downtown Jamestown from the HD News Now cam. You can see things are looking pretty good there. You can also see the flag flying there a little bit in the distance. And currently, it is 27 degrees at the Jamestown Airport. We have a wind chill number of 18 when you combine it with that northwest wind of 10. So all in all, we are below average. We should be in the 40s this time of the year, so still pretty chilly. And then temperatures around the region Vision at the airport locations, 28 in Olean down in the Allegheny River Valley. It's 28 in Springville, 29 in Dunkirk by the lake, 31 in Erie, and 33 in Buffalo. So these temperatures are way off the mark, but things change going into next week. Now, Doppler Vision, there's you right here. And again, there's that nor'easter that kind of tracked along that pretty much tracked along the East Coast yesterday. It's spinning around now off the coast of Boston, but this has not been impacting us. That's the good news. We missed it this time. But what's controlling our weather? It's this big Canadian high pressure that's circulated around, but we're still cold because this high pressure is dragging in colder air from Canada on a north wind. And if we have a north wind this time of the year, that will basically keep us refrigerated. Now, for the next 7 days on the temperature outlook, we'll be around 33 degrees for the next 2, but then take a look at Saturday as we start the weekend. We'll go up to around 37 degrees as a high. Now, this is the little mountain climber, guy from The Price is Right on the game Cliffhangers. Watch my little yodeling guy. See what he does. Boom, there you go. Take a look at this. We go up, and then by Wednesday of next week, we should make it to 53 degrees. That is awesome. And of course, you can hear the yodeling music back in the background. And of course, thanks to our, I just want to say thanks to our wonderful producer, Andy, for putting that in there because he's the best. I'm telling you. Now, it's Thursday. We're all looking ahead to the weekend. Let's take a look at that weekend planning forecast. So Saturday, we'll see sunshine. Yes, it'll still be chilly, but it'll be a bit warmer. Temperatures will range from freezing to around 38. And then the wind also comes down a little bit out of the northeast. And take a look at Sunday, 34 to 39. Gorgeous sunshine. It's going to feel nice with a south wind 4 to 8, and a southerly wind will boost our temperatures up. So that is the good news. Let's break down the forecast on MetroCast for you. At 2 o'clock today, we'll be right around 32 degrees. There'll be more clouds than sun, as has been the case the past couple of days, but man, it'll still be chilly. As we go to 4 o'clock, we probably will top out around 33, 34 degrees, way below average, but it'll just be another cold and nippy afternoon. And as we go to 8 o'clock, around 30 degrees, the winds do come down just a tiny bit, but it'll still be kind of another cold evening out there. Now, for tomorrow, breaking down the forecast zone by zone, it's deja vu, said Yogi Bear. And it's pretty much the same thing tomorrow. Temperatures really held down in the 30s. Now, there is a chance for a light snow shower or snow flurry throughout the day. Otherwise, I think we'll see partial sunshine once again. And it's basically just a rinse and repeat, especially once you go out eastward. It's almost just a rinse and repeat, and the winds will still be up northwest, 10 to 15 miles per hour. So, man, it'll still be just another chilly day out there, even though we're in the first full week of spring as well. So it's just not going to feel like it as we go throughout it. Next 7 days of your life coming up, brought to you by Quick Solutions, and 37 with sunshine on Saturday. And take a look at this. Sunday, full sunshine, and there's that climb. 47 Monday, 52 Tuesday. Now, we bring in a few rain showers on Wednesday, but I think we'll take that over the rain. The new model guidance has really shoved a lot of that rain until Wednesday, but you want to enjoy this because I don't believe it's going to last all throughout next week. We will take a quick break, and we will be right back.
First Defense Weather is sponsored by Quick Solutions of Jamestown. Count on Quick Solutions for printing, copying, mass mailings, and so much more. Part of your team. Learn more at QuickSolutionsUSA.com. That's QuickSolutionsUSA.com. With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
I just love to be with the dogs, and I like to do them one at a time. They don't wait for 5 hours in my shop. We have full groom, which includes everything from A to Z, nails, of course brushing, any trimming that needs to be done. I do offer teeth brushing, which is a little extra. So if he takes me 2 hours, it's $40. If he takes me 3 hours, I still keep it down. As long as the dog comes back happy and not at the door, I'm happy.
WNY Sports Now is powered by Phone Zone of Jamestown. With the largest inventory around, we buy and sell our own merchandise at a price that can't be beat. Have a broken screen? We'll fix it. Learn more at PhoneZoneShop.com. You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
What matters to you matters to us. Every story, every day.
I sat down with the candidate following last night's meeting, an interview you will only see on WNY News Now.
Small, proud, and dedicated community that is shocked, angered, sad.
The old Dunkirk City School building has been remodeled and retrofitted with 21st century technology.
Feel demoralized in a sense by the power structure?
I don't really know. I mean, maybe, but there's just not a lot of information, I guess, to change some things, I suppose.
Chautauqua County Executive George Borrello is in the nation's capital right now, advocating for several water projects in the county.
This ban will ultimately lay down some more snow our way over the next 24 or so hours. Now, zooming the radar out.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Right, back to talk with News Now is on the road today, Thursday, March 22nd. I see some snow on the ground, none falling, but it's still on the ground. And as Dakota said, things will look a little better next week. So, Matt, your last impressions of this very impressive event and well-constructed as well.
Definitely, and you could tell, you get 300 people here, and you have a bunch of well-known speakers. Mm-hmm. I mean, that, like you said, it's very impressive. It's a great event, and I personally hope that they can continue to have this event and provide awareness and prepare for the future.
All right, so no sports today, but I will tell you the Sweet 16 starts tonight. Loyola of Chicago is a 1.5-point favorite over Nevada. That should be very interesting. They're kind of developing to be the darlings, even though they're an 11 seed, taking on Nevada, a 7 seed. Quick take on that.
I think Loyola Chicago is going to win. I like Nevada, don't get me wrong, but I think Loyola of Chicago is on fire right now. And my question is, I would like to know, and I'll ask him later, who would Andy Swanson of the Phone Zone pick? That's what I want to know.
I think Andy would pick anybody from Ohio, and I don't know if there's any teams left in Ohio. I'm sorry, Andy, if you're watching, but I texted him the other day about the Cavs, and he just SMH. All right, for Matt Hummel, and for those of you technically unsavvy, it's shaking my head. For Matt Hummel, I'm Ryan Hedrick. We are live. News now from the Chautauqua Inn Suites. Thank you for joining us. More news at WNYNewsNow.com 24/7. We're also on Twitter at WNY News Now, Instagram, and Snapchat. Have a great afternoon. We'll talk to you for a fabulous Friday. George Borrello and Michael Davenport be in studio, the Jackals. Take care.